One of the most dramatic stories in the entire Torah is the story of Yosef and his brothers. It has all of the elements of tremendous drama. The favoritism by Yaakov, the sibling rivalry, the fact that there was a tremendous misunderstanding to the extent that the brothers considered Yosef to be a tremendous threat and a danger, and they were prepared to get rid of him. But ultimately they sold him as a slave to Egypt. Then you have the amazing rise of Yosef. Who would have given any kind of a chance that a person 17 years old, sold as a slave, would work his way up and ultimately become the ruler of the entire nation of Egypt, which only goes to show you that basically it's what's stated in Koheles. Many are the thoughts in the hearts of man, but it's the will of God, the plan of God, that will prevail. And we know the story that ultimately there was a famine, the brothers had to come down, and they, so to speak, were at the mercy of Yosef. Little did they know. They had no idea. And Yosef worked out different scenarios, his objective being to reunite the family. And he put all of them in a position where they would have to overcome their defect, and they'd have to do teshuvah. One should not have the impression that Yosef accused them and incarcerated Shimon and so on, and demanded that Yaakov relinquished Binyamin. One should not have the idea that there was any desire for revenge. That's the greatness of Yosef, that he was able to rid himself of any feelings of revenge. And in this week's parsha, we read about the reconciliation. When the time came, when it was clear to him after the appeal of Yehuda that every member of the family had really done tshuva, there was no further point in going on with the charade, he then decides to make himself known to his brothers. And you could see the tremendous love that he has for them. He clears the room of Egyptians. He doesn't want anybody to know about what happened. He doesn't want the brothers to have any embarrassment. And that's because deep down he loved them. And what we encounter is what I would call one of the greatest stories of forgiveness, the forgiveness of Yosef. Put yourself in his position, that he was able to completely forgive his brothers and to harbor no resentment against them. And he anticipates that. You can imagine how dumbfounded they were, how shocked they were when he tells them, I'm Yosef, I'm the brother that you sold to Egypt. But he's quick to let them know that they should not be sad, they shouldn't be upset, that he will not take revenge, that he has no hatred. And that is because he realizes that all of this was the plan of Hashem, and that God sent me. God sent me here to come before you to establish a salvation for the family. So there were two elements. One is that as I look back over what happened, I see that it was really for the good. And secondly, I also can recognize that this was a divine plan. And these are very, very significant arguments, because for most people it wouldn't work. A person that was so wronged, as Yosef had been wronged, and then you point out to him, yeah, you were wrong, but look, it all turned out for the good. And the pain you went through was part of a bigger plan, which was very, very significant. Yeah, but most people would not be able to accept that. And because why did I have to suffer? Most people are focused purely on their own personal experience, and it overshadows the bigger picture. But Yosef was a great, great individual. He realized that he had contributed to his plight, that he had defects, but he also realized that the most important thing is that he was able to participate in this great, great plan of salvation. He was not small-minded. He had his mind on the bigger picture, and that's what we all need to do. If we can focus on the bigger picture, if we could become attached to the true good, then even if at certain points we had to experience certain setbacks, but that was necessary for the bigger picture, that will give us the ability to make our peace with what happened to us and to forgive and to love all of the participants that were involved, provided that they have done teshuvah.